plan. We're
Is
good.
this where we come to practice that choreography so we can all do it together, Jim?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna go together.
Nobody wants to see that, Shannon.
I know.
Nobody wants to see that.
You are wrong, Jim Mooney. I want to see that. Cannot be the only. Jesse says yes. Who else? Everybody else get in there and
I got news for you. There's a snowball's chance of hell of that ever happening.
I want to see Jim move like his bobblehead does when I hold it up in front of the camera.
Terry, you remember the other year they were trying to raise money to get me to ride a mechanical bull in DC?
DC, yes, at studio.
And
What was
I
that?
said
Cadillac.
there's no chance on God's green earth that I'm getting on that bull. I'm way too old. I'm way too out of shape. It ain't happening. And one of the guys, come on, peer pressure will get you to do it. I said, you got the wrong person. Don't, nuh-uh.
Not gonna work, huh?
That would have been one for the books.
Yeah.
Well, I think
the hospital books probably when I fell off the damn thing. Shannon's laughing because she knows.
She was there, huh?
No, I would just be in the hospital too if I fell off a mechanical bull. I see people do things like football players, they get hit, and I'm like, well, there went my spleen. Like, I would never recover from that one hit, and they do it 10 times in a game. It's crazy.
We're good.
Mr. Kehoe, how are you, sir? You're not traveling today?
Nope. I flew back down to San Diego last night, so I'm hanging out in rainy San Diego. Ugh.
Yeah,
Jim,
I don't know if you saw it. Alana Ross posted yesterday that they had rain in Tucson and Phoenix in June for the first time in like over 100 years.
Wow.
We got
amazing.
Got like a little over 2 inches up here in North Phoenix.
Yeah, Alana said she brought it back because she was in Pennsylvania with hanging out with Holly and Melissa, and she went back with a wet sweatshirt from the concert they were at the one thing, and she said she brought the rain back with her. I'm like, you can keep it.
That's in my front yard. Crazy.
Dude, Brian, it's rained here in Pennsylvania. If I would say 15 of the last 19 days that we've had rain. It's just
not used to it. So when it gets all of a sudden, it's like 2 inches in one night. I mean, it was thunderstorms. Like it sounded as if the lightning was hitting the house. It was so loud.
Cool.
And Jim, we split time between Oregon and San Diego, and I'm wondering why I'm down in San Diego now, because it's like 80 degrees, 85 degrees in Oregon this week. I got to get back up there instead.
Yeah, my son's in Oregon this week, visiting my other son in Portland and Beaverton.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mike, I know I keep telling my husband we're back in San Diego too, and it's like it's second winter. What is going on?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that
I'll take that anytime.
So hard, Corey. That sounds so hard. We're down here in Houston breathing hot soup.
I know, but it's 65 degrees is not the weather I'm paying for.
Jesse, you can keep Texas heat. I got called to go to Texas in July. I'm like, no.
We would pay
no parts of it.
65, Corey.
The heat and humidity. I remember being on a site visit in San Antonio one year, and it was like August, and ran into a guy in a unit, and it's a non-climate unit. It was an exterior unit. He's sitting at a card table. That's his office. He's wearing a jacket, okay, in August in San Antonio, and I think it was 90 degrees and humidity of 90%. And I said, man, you got some pretty good heat tolerance. He said, yeah, I do. It gets pretty hot around here. He said, if I owned hell and I owned Texas, I'd live in hell and rent out Texas because I can't stand it here. And I said, but you're sitting here in a unit in a jacket in August in San Antonio. Get a climate control unit.
That was his makeshift office.
Yeah, but that was the first time I'd heard that phrase. I live in hell and rent out.
Tell him Starbucks has free Wi-Fi, my friend, and air conditioning.
Oh.
Yeah, but you got to pay $20 for a cup of coffee in Starbucks.
Probably what he was paying for that unit down there.
About that.
You guys want to humor me for a few minutes? We'll watch the
Absolutely.
video.
Yeah, let's do it.
Jesse's going to dance in the background.
I want to see some dancing. All right. Maybe everybody.
Jim, I'm not sure we're getting the audio.
No audio.
No audio.
That's weird.
I did see this on LinkedIn. I give me a good laugh, man.
Did you see it?
Yeah, when you were tagging, when you tagged it a few of us on the call, and I was just giggling. I was like, yeah. And then I get the emails on LinkedIn, like your LinkedIn profiles getting views. I'm like, thanks, Jim.
Let's see what's doing it here. Let's look here. I'll draw a YouTube video. Do it this way. Gotta love Zoom sometimes.
Shannon has the San Diego background, and Jim has the Houston humidity. It's hazy in your picture.
Let's see how this works.
My AI background cracks me up because A, I would not have two corner doors on the same unit, and B, I would not put a bright light directly over the center of every single door on an outside facility screaming, "Every bug in the tri-state area, come get in here."
Hey, it's a double door feature. It's a, it's a
Yeah.
It's
Speaking
one
of
them,
airflow for your guy in San Antonio, Terry.
Did you see that post about cleanliness where the AI generated unit? It was like, check your units and check your bathrooms, and the unit door was in the bathroom in the picture. I was like, I think you maybe have to pay extra for that. I don't.
That's like an ensuite. You sell that as a feature.
All right, I gotta go in here. I didn't click the right button. Too many buttons. All right, here we go.
Some like it, hey. Some like it. Friday hits, I'm back on Zoom. Storage pros fill up the room. Tips and tricks, we lay it down. From website wins to that rental crown. Talking about my units. Yeah, they rent real fast. This meetup's fine. Knowledge built to last. We share what's hot and what's not. Storage success, we connect the dots. Some like it. Woo. Some like it. Vendors flashing tools and flair. Owners not like, hey, I'm there. 3 Mile Market, we run the show. These storage streets, yeah, we make them glow. Talking about my units, yeah, they rent real fast. This meetup's fine, knowledge built to last. We share what's hot and what's not. Storage success, we connect the dots. Some like it, yeah. Some like it. Review game strong, lock game tight. Leads keep coming all day and night. This ain't no average industry call. We're having fun while we grow it all. Storage swagger, turn it up loud. We stand out from the storage crowd. It's the Self Storage Meetup groove. Come join the squad. Get in the mood. Talking about my units. Yeah, they rent real fast. This meetup's fine. Knowledge built to last. We share what's hot and what's not. Storage success, we connect the dots. Some like it. Some like it. Ooh, yeah. Some like it. Some like it.
Well, there you go.
Who's letting their folks use their units for dance parties?
No, you're not.
I feel like we'd ask them to leave if that was happening.
How'd you get AJ to play the sax on that?
Right? And trim his beard.
Yeah, it's crazy the stuff you can do on video now. That's just nuts.
Did you actually type in find me a guy who looks like AJ Osborne to play the saxophone?
No, but yeah, it just luck of the draw how that came out. So it's funny.
Do you
I
put
should
that on?
we should make like horror stories of what we've seen in storage units. I'll make videos of that.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good one.
Wouldn't it?
That would be a good one.
The really funny thing, Jim, is that I have a story about a banana suit. So
Okay.
yeah,
Gotta hear
that
this.
cracked me up. No, I worked in a call center for A1 Self Storage for a long, long time. But you hear a lot of stories, 15 years in call center.
Yeah.
You get a lot of crazy stuff. Yeah. I got some crazy guy called accusing one of our managers of wearing a banana suit and being in the back room with an associate. Kid you not.
Okay.
And then he still wanted to rent after accusing the manager of doing that. I'm like, okay.
I just need you to remove the guy in the banana suit, Corey.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, anyway, thanks for humoring me. I just wanted to have an excuse to play around with the new video stuff. So I'm like,
So did anybody
Just
see
video.
the post on LinkedIn or Facebook this week about Airbnb renting out a apartment in a storage unit?
no.
All that.
I saw it. I sent it to Jim Ferguson. Imagine being an Airbnb customer and you're renting a one bedroom, whatever, and it's in a storage unit facility.
I did see that.
At least it wasn't the actual storage unit.
That's what I was waiting for when I first saw
Yeah.
it, but it was actually a nice looking apartment in a facility. So I guess people decided they're not going to use their apartments for managers. They're going to Airbnb them.
I've rented out apartments.
Not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah. No, I've done that where we couldn't have the manager. This didn't work out, so I actually rented out the apartment to someone that totally was not affiliated with the storage facility.
Oh, we've done that too. We're doing that right now with one of our stores in Georgia, but I never thought to Airbnb it.
Yeah, that's a different level. Well, that's great. I was curious, is anyone new that hasn't been on here before?
I was just going to mention that I invited Dave Sanchez out of Colorado. He's a fellow real estate broker, investor. He owns storage, multiple other things as well.
Oh, well,
There he is. I see Dave. Welcome.
Don't steal his thunder. Yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself, Dave.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've known Brian for a while now, and I really appreciate Brian. I haven't heard of this group before, so I'm really excited to be part of it, or at least to join it once in a while. I also invited Carla on. We are going through a couple of issues with marketing, so we were hoping to get a little feedback from the group. Yeah, I do some storage, but I do a lot of different type of asset classes. So I've been in storage since we bought our first one in '97, and right now we only have 2 facilities, one in Colorado and one in Florida.
Oh, nice. We're in Colorado.
It's in Greeley, Colorado, which is about an hour north of Denver.
Yep.
Kind of a good secondary market.
Yeah, it's a nice market. I'm in Utah, so I'm pretty familiar with Colorado.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My whole family's from some small towns in Colorado, and Crested Butte and Gunnison. So.
Oh, that's a beautiful area.
It is. Yeah, it's
A
crazy.
beautiful area.
No, I mean that's what the whole point of this group is. It's very free flowing. So before we get too sidetracked, questions on marketing. Go ahead, ask what you
Well,
got.
I'll introduce Carla, and she can introduce herself real quick.
Yeah.
Carla, are you on?
I'm
Real
on.
quick,
I don't have my camera. It's not working.
No problem. Go ahead.
I'm Carla, Dave's other half, and I help with the books and all of that for our storage facilities. And we're hoping to get some ideas on marketing. We've researched 2 companies. We currently use SiteLink for both of our properties, and we are looking at a company called Click and Store, and also a company called Storage Pug, and that's PUG. So any kind of insight from others would be helpful as to which they prefer or any others. We're just trying to get our phone ringing. So looking at search engine optimization and other ideas out there.
Well, real quick, just what are you currently doing? What's your marketing avenues right now?
Well, just the basic from SiteLink. We have a website. We did a little research on Google research or SEOs and didn't get much further on that because Dave and I are not real familiar with how to do that. So we're really basics. We're not doing a whole lot. We're doing a lot of just local advertising, flyers, newspaper. We tried radio. Of course, we've got the old flags up. We're in a really good area on a very busy highway. And Dave is currently trying to get authorization to put a big advertising sign out there. And so that's pretty much all we're doing. We're not doing much as far as the internet.
Well,
Sure.
our Colorado property has been doing really well for years, and we bought that property and corrected the management and the marketing. And so we were running about 10% vacancy on that, but it started slipping at the beginning of last year. And I know a lot of the facilities started making changes and started filling it a little bit. And so whenever I bought a facility and fixed it up, I have a good friend that's been in it for a long, long time too. We just had a certain system that we always followed. And so whenever we wanted to fill a facility, we really relied on Sparefoot for about, I don't know, 10 years or so. And we never really had issues with vacancies. We bought a newer facility in Florida. We did our market research, and the facility was really run down, just a small facility. And when we did our market research, store track and some of the numbers that we got were off a little bit on rent. Well, we corrected the rent and we're in line with where we need to be on rent now. But there again, we used to fill our facilities all the time with Sparefoot, and we're just absolutely disgusted and sick of Sparefoot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, we can go in a million different directions on this, frankly, but if you want, totally up to you. If you want to put your website in chat, and maybe your email if you want to get contacted, there's a lot of ways you can go here. And before you even think of doing any kind of billboard stuff, let's get your online.
No, that billboard was just
advertising.
no, it's not. The billboard was on one of our facilities for something else.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No.
Yeah, you said that. Like, no, let's focus on your online before you even.
No.
think about
Yeah,
doing
we
that
need
kind of stuff.
online. We need just people directed to our website, and we're fully set up. All everything is automatic. We just we haven't had to. I've been in the industry for a while, and it's funny. I never really had to worry about marketing. And now I'm having to focus on it and learn it. And I've been very blessed for a long time in storage.
Yeah, that's a common, and anyone could jump in here, but that's a common story of people that have been around for a long time. Like, oh, it's been awesome, but in the last, honestly, about probably 5 years, if you're not focused on marketing, it's hard. It's a lot harder, a lot more competition. Everyone's getting more sophisticated online, getting the phone to ring, and if you haven't been doing it, as you've seen,
Yeah.
you get behind real quick.
Yeah.
I just put our website out there. It's portable secure storage greeley.com.
Jim, they have a storage website.
Storage, yep. Well,
which is very, very bland. Yeah. I mean, Eva's probably the best one to talk on this, but I mean, I think the GBP page is Eva, right? Your GBP is your first step.
So citations and GBP are going to be like the very first thing that you're going to want to tackle.
Okay.
So sending those out like a Yext or a SEM Rush, one of those programs where it will get all of the like Hot Frog, the Yellowbot, Yelp, Apple, Bing, all those citations all in one place, all the same name, address, and phone number, and making sure that you're actually capturing and managing the citations.
Excuse me, but what did you say, GBP?
Yeah, Google Business Profile.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Eva, is that something you do and maybe can, so like they mentioned, Dave, you guys can put your email address in there, unless there's several people on this Zoom that can reach out and help, and a multitude of different services, Eva one of them.
Yeah.
And you guys can work to, so it's like me, I'm not very tech savvy. So, and like Dave said, I didn't really have to worry about, when I had my facility, I didn't really have to worry about that kind of marketing. But things have changed quite a bit. So,
Brian, I want to concur with Josh and Eva. Just said, yeah, I love Pugs. Pug has a fantastic website, but they really don't have a back end. Not don't have a back end. They don't do a lot of SEO stuff for you. So you can go to them and get a website, but you're going to have to either use Eva or somebody else that can help you build up the back end. Josh, you do that stuff as well. Point them in the right direction for that. But without having that on the back end, and that's what's happening. I mean, Olivia, we had one of that conversation early on about your GBP, that you had a great property and couldn't find you because you couldn't find you online. So we all know in today's world, if you're not visible on that first front page of Google, you're dead.
especially for their Florida location, it's on a side street, kind of off like a quarter block off. So I think it needs, to me personally, it needs something to really direct people there.
Absolutely.
And you get what you pay for the marketing stuff. Again, I always come at it from the owner's perspective, and I love you owners, you're awesome, but man, you can be cheap sometimes. And
hey, Mike Kehoe, not to put you on the spot, but you and I had a long conversation a year and a half ago that you had a problem with your GBP page. Was it Vegas, your store, that you couldn't get it, and you were like dead in the water for like a couple months?
Yeah, a couple of thoughts, Jim. I love Tommy at Storage Pug, and I did use him for a couple of sites. They're more expensive, and I hoped they would deliver more, and I really didn't get the great extra experience. So we went away from just to, sorry, Jim, to save money, because it didn't seem like the benefit was there for the extra cost. But yeah, I've really struggled with Las Vegas. I just don't know why. I had copper on it for a while, and they kind of flatlined and couldn't get it very filled up. And then I made the mistake of moving to Cubics, and they lost like 25% net of my customers. So I just about 6 months ago moved back to Argus, and I'm just incredibly frustrated. They're just not getting any tenants. And I've had people look at what they're doing for marketing, and people say they're doing the right thing, but I think I've got 2 new renters this month in Las Vegas on the 6th day of the month. And
Mike, how about you and I connect offline, and we'll talk with you. I got a couple ideas I might want to run by you and see what you think. So,
Hey, Mike.
But
yes,
when you're mentioning these companies, are they third-party property management companies or software, or who are they?
yeah, I have 5 facilities spread out in different states, and they're all managed by third-party managers. Like I've got West Coast Storage up in the Northwest, and they kill it. They're really good, but they're more boutique. Argus is all across the country, and I've got them on a couple of them now. Copper is a third-party manager, and so I'm a little bit at a disadvantage because I'm like pushing a string uphill sometimes because I have to count on them. And if they keep telling me, "Oh, we're doing everything," or "We just changed this," and I keep throwing ideas at them, they're like, "No, we can do it ourselves." And I'm like, "Well, but you're not doing it yourselves."
So I'm really familiar with third-party property management in multifamily, but what do they normally charge off revenue, or is it 10%, 15%? What do they charge for fees normally?
Usually 5%.
5?
Yeah, it's between 4 and 6 is typical.
Okay, so just a little less than multifamily. Okay.
Yeah, it's
the
less
minimum-
involved than multifamily though, Dave.
All
But
right.
but the minimum can get you. I mean, depending on the size of your facility. I mean, if you have too small facility, then if there's a $2,000 or $3,000 a month minimum, then the rate's going to be a lot higher and isn't going to be worth it.
Yeah, the percentage will be higher.
And the
Okay.
REITs get you because they charge on the lower end of the spectrum. And I was just shopping for a new 3PO for one of my clients, and I was shocked that they are at 4% for their management fee, but then CubeSmart charges $107 per reservation, not move-in, reservation.
Oh my goodness.
On their website, up to $5,100 a month. So he got his first bill and was like, "We got 4 rentals."
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And paid $4,000 for it. They paid $1,000 per rental. And I was like, this is
wow,
bananas. That's bananas.
I thought Sparefoot was bad.
Hey, Dave, I just did an incognito search on Google for your store in Greenlee, and I
Uh-huh.
found you were 12th on the list.
That's what
So
we need to work on.
right. Well, and I also hovered over your GBB page, and you got 4 pictures, and one of them's it's like a street view, and it's all telephone lines and dirt. So you need some pictures. You need some, and I know Josh is on here. Not to get Josh plug, but Josh does drone footage and videos, and he's really, really good at what he does. So, Josh, that might be an opportunity for you to, you work some of your magic on the video stuff to look at this. But yeah, it needs some help. It needs some TLC.
There definitely won't be a lack of people here willing to help you. So, same thing. Look in the chat every Wednesday, because everyone can hear it to attest. This always is a common theme of Google business profiles. It really is. So I just put a link every Wednesday. I dedicate about 2 hours a day of just doing optimization sessions with people. So book a time. We'll go through it. I don't do a lot of stuff. I just point things out, kind of give you a roadmap. Then I can tell you who to talk to and stuff. So if that helps.
And
like I said, I do talk to Brian a lot, so I'll have he'll help me with some of the connections in it. But I appreciate you all already.
And then one of the things that I've been struggling with some of my customers, we've actually helped improve the number of leads that they've been receiving after working on some technical SEO, making sure their Google business profiles are managed and everything else. But at the end of the day, every lead is precious. And if you don't have a good, strong follow-up program, that's something I think we're seeing a lot of misses. So I would definitely just make sure that you are following up on every lead like it's precious, because it is. And so I had my customer, we bumped their leads up 30% over year, and they still were not converting. So that's something that I would just really strongly encourage you to do. Have a great follow-up program.
Corey, I'll give you a good one. I just made a call this week. I did a mystery shop. I went online. I've got the whole thing. I got an extra email address, extra phone number. That way they don't know who it is. I went online and made a reservation, made a lead, and next morning I got a phone call. And I played. I'm very good at playing dumb. Well, yeah, we're just looking right now to see what we're doing. We're not quite sure. And swear to God, she said, "Well, we're a self-service company, so you call us back when you're ready for us."
It's crazy, isn't it?
I haven't
got. I'm like, close the sale.
I purposely said for June 5th, figuring I'd get a phone call yesterday.
Yeah.
I got the same email I got the day I made the reservation saying, "Hey, click here to rent this thing."
Yeah.
And I called the person who I was helping out. I said, "Listen," I said, "Look, I got the same email 5 times." It's a very bland email. It doesn't give you anything.
No, that's the thing that I'm trying to hammer home with so many of my clients.
I was listening carefully for you to say it. You did not say the words I wanted to hear, which was, Dave, if they call you, answer the phone.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing that I harp on, but I wasn't having a problem with my customer with that. They were answering the phone, but man, they were not. Just the follow-up program. And it's like, come on.
So Corey, I have in front of me a unit demand tracking report from SiteLink, right? For a 3-month span, walk-ins, they had 58 walk-ins and 58 rentals, which we know is wrong.
Yep.
They had 38 email ones and 21 of them rented. Guess how many phone calls they logged in?
1.
12.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the math doesn't add up, does it? So, and I just had that conversation with the guys from Go Local this morning, the website company, because they're always having me talk to people. And Jim, we had this conversation before. One of the things I hate when we're looking at a property and we're trying to help them, and you find things that are correctable, and the person, you feel like you're telling them that they're doing things wrong, and you're really not. You're trying to help point them out, and they take it like you're insulting them because it wasn't right.
Yeah.
Like, you asked me to help. I'm going to point out what I see needs to be fixed. If you don't want to fix it, that's on you. I'm just telling you what I see. So I know we see that a lot.
Oh, yes, we do. I started doing a thing now with the consulting stuff. We have our list. We go through it. I have them go through everything. But before we hang up, I actually like, we are booking a time to have a follow-up, usually within 2 weeks, just to kind of start hammering some of this stuff home. Because otherwise, I know everyone gets busy. I can give you a list, you put it away, you forget about it. So I started doing that just as a freebie, just as a free follow-up, and that has, we'll see if it tends to help, but it's just kind of hammering the point home on some of these things.
Jim, I'm actually taking the stoplight approach. I'll give them 3 that are red that need to be done right away.
Yeah.
3 that are yellow that need, okay, important to do. And green ones, these are ones that we got to do, but you have to tackle, like for Dave, GBP be number 1, right? Then inquiries and all these. At least give, because I learned a long time, if you give them a list of 25 things you see that's wrong, nothing's going to get done. But if you, okay, these are the top 3 I'd work on, then these are the next 3, and then these are the next 3, and kind of take that approach, it goes well.
Yep, definitely. I want to make sure I'm always keeping an eye on chats and stuff. I don't want to overlook people that have questions. Bob, if you're on here, if you want to, I see your question, but if you want to jump on and ask about your branding question, go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much. I own a facility in New England, and I bought one just a mile and a half away. It was too good a deal to pass up. There's very little supply in this area, so the owner wanted to expand, and I thought I'd try to stem that by buying them up. And now I own 2 facilities in this town, and I'm just curious. They're different names, so I'm just curious about branding when you have a facility so close to another one, and just what people's thoughts are on that.
I'll give you my 2 cents, and anyone else can jump in. But generally, when I see this happen, and someone buys, they have one facility, and they buy another facility, like in a different state, who cares about branding? It honestly, it's not going to help you. But if you have 2 sites very closely in geographic area, yeah, I'm all for branding that way. Gives it a little more legitimacy that way. Good cross marketing, that kind of a thing. More bang for your buck when it comes to online marketing or domains. So I'm all for having the same name in the same market.
I would say the same thing. I've seen it, Bob, where I actually had a client who did that. They bought 2 and they kept them separate. And then they were, they put really good specials on the one that they just bought to try to fill it up. And they took all their people from their existing property over there. So they cannibalized A to fill up B. I said, guys, don't do that. If you're going to keep, put the same name out there and keep the prices legitimately the same, but have the specials dictate what goes where with availability, then you'll fill them both up. But if don't lower the price on one to fill it up, because you're going to pull your customers out of your other one.
Thanks, guys.
She's shaking her head. I bet she's seen that before.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before. Don't do that.
Do you have any follow-up? Is that answer your question?
No, that's great. I'll let me think through that and maybe follow up with you guys offline.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
No problem. Hey, and Dave, was it right? Dave, for asking about the website and the marketing. If you look in chat, we put in a couple links there for you. Eva was able to put them on there.
Next to them already, so we didn't.
Okay. That's your citations, and most people don't even know what citations are, but it's vitally important to have that.
I used to get them when I was a teenager.
So I did the search for Dave here, and I did find that you have 53% of your citations are missing, 47 of them are incomplete, and you have 0% that are correct.
There you go. Black and white.
Dave, I bet you're happy you jumped on this call today.
I like being helpful, so I'm glad that I'm actually being
absolutely
of use to the room.
But that's what you have to have. I mean, you got to have the black and white. You're armed with the information. Now you know start getting a roadmap of what to do with it and start fixing these things. So
I even went on the website and I noticed that within your own website, your address is spelt out different ways. So you can start there.
What an idea. What an eye for detail. Good job.
Well, Dave, I don't know if you noticed on the website, they got 10 by 30s that got a $0, 200 first month, second month free, but it's the way it reads, there's 3 in a row. So why is there difference in size? Even 10 by, they're different. So they're all 10 by 30 climate controls. Oh, I'm sorry, storage, but they're all the same. Jim, I just did a call this week with a client who's got parking.
Yeah.
Beautiful brand new property, right? He had 27 unit types for parking by the foot. But when you looked at the overhead map, they were 40-foot spots, 30-foot spots and 20-foot spots, but he was doing 21, 22, 23. His list was like this big of prices.
That's insane.
Like, don't do that.
Well, I know what happens because I see it too. They put it in the system, but don't double check the website on how it's getting displayed. I mean, it makes total sense in the system when I get it. That's why they're doing that. But the way it's getting displayed on the website is a turn off in 2 seconds. If you see something like that, you're confused and bouncing.
That's decision fatigue all the way.
Hey guys, can I ask the stupid question for the benefit of the group?
Please.
I think you all have an expert bias because all of you know what citations are and why they're important. And also, if they're incorrect, how you fix them and what impact that might have on your business. But I don't know that all operators included in this call would know that. So
we're just gonna make like a slide, and this comes up like all the time. We're just gonna make a slide, and I'm just gonna pop it up and be like, "There you go," because it comes up a lot, but it's so important. So whoever wants to jump in, that's the citation expert.
I think that's what Eva and I preach the most these days, right? Is citations. So basically, that's how you're presented in all the different directories everywhere, right? Your citations, how you're listed on Yelp, how you're listed on MapQuest, how you're listed on Foursquare, how you're listed on Google My Business. It needs to be consistent. And the thing that we've always preached is NAP is the term that everybody uses, right? But it's name, address, phone number. And NAP plus W is name, address, phone number plus website. You need to use your website as your single source of truth. So exactly how you have it presented on your website needs to go in all those other citation sources. Doing those individually one by one is a nightmare. We don't recommend that at all. Eva we'll preach that, right? There's great sources available for you to do it once and have it feed out to all the other sources. That's something I know Eva and I can help you with. I'm sure there's others on the call that have done those citations, but basically there are tools available for you to do that yourself, or if you want an expert who can guide you through it, we're available too. But yes, that's the thing. Name, address, phone number, website, and your website is your single source of truth. Make sure that it's correct everywhere, and it definitely helps boost. And that was Shannon's question earlier. Does it help boost your rankings? Yes, because it's consistent and Google knows exactly how to see it, and it just helps bump everything up.
It gives your domain legitimacy. Bottom line.
So can I ask a quick question? Across other business types, does that the same? I'm learning this new too. So I'm starting a new business outside of storage and real estate. Is that the same, whether it's a static, whatever it is, just basically creating an online presence?
Exactly. Yep. So I've actually helped smaller businesses in my area do the same thing. Anybody that's got a brick and mortar is essential. It's 101. That's the first thing you should make sure to do as you're going through everything.
It's 101, but no one talks about it.
I know.
Except for us nerds on here.
Well,
seriously. So yeah, we talk about it, but got to be more loud about it. So I want to make sure we don't skip people. Darcel, if I read that right. You had a question?
Yes, I did have a question.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yep.
So one of our facilities only have a couple large units sizes, not smaller ones, and we get a lot of inquiries for smaller sizes. So when it comes to the end of the month, we didn't rent those units because they wanted a 5x10 instead of a 12x24, which we had available. And sometimes it'll make the numbers, look like we're not renting the units. Now, is there a good way to try to convert someone from wanting such a small, inexpensive unit compared to a larger, more expensive unit? Is there any way to bring those people around, or some way to deal with that situation that we could benefit, like refer to someone else and they refer to us or something?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll jump in real quick because I deal with this a lot. First off, for your own site, you're kind of stuck. I mean, you don't want to be like, oh, I'll give you a bigger size unit for that price, because you're just undercutting yourself. So you don't want to do that. Keep track of all your leads and things that are coming in, because that's good data to know, because maybe some of these bigger size units, if you have vacancies, maybe you can convert some of those into smaller size spaces. But you have to have that data to back it up. But in the meantime, damn right, go to your competition and set up some competition alliance referrals. if you can just say, hey, I'm full here. If you have some vacancies on your small size, cool. I'll send them to you. If they rent, pay me $100 finder fee. Why not? At least you're getting something.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking, something to trade back and pick that business up. Really, it doesn't really have too much to do with advertising at that point, I guess.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already getting the demand. You're already getting visible. People are calling you. You just don't have the
Yeah.
availability. Frankly.
Right. We just don't have to deliver. Okay, that was my question. I just wanted to make sure I was doing everything I could.
I see Marty has his hand raised and I couldn't figure out how to do that. I guess I'm not bright enough. Marty, did you have a response for her as well? Because I do, but I didn't want to cut in front of you.
No, I had a question.
Okay.
Can I just
we'll respond.
So from a call center perspective, we take, thousands and thousands and thousands of prospect calls every month. And at the end of the day, what you're describing is a perfectly normal situation. If someone calls your facility and is interested in renting storage, they're a prospect. That's a lead. Now, if you can't close the lead because you don't have the size available, that's a valid non-conversion reason. But like Jim said, you want to make sure you're tracking that so that your ownership group knows that you have a specific percentage that you can hit, because most of your calls are for smaller units. I would say, A, check your website to make sure it's clear, because I see websites all the time that say crazy things like, need a 5x10? Call our office. Instead of just being clear that a 5x10 doesn't exist, why have them pick up the phone and call you to ask for something that you don't have, unless you're thinking that you're going to somehow be able to convert them to a 10x20, but your chances of that are really low.
Not gonna happen.
So just something to keep in mind. Make sure that your website isn't directing people to call you specifically for things you don't have.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Proud to serve the larger service needs of our community or something.
Yep.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, I was just gonna say, just make sure your content also has stuff to do with like commercial business, bigger things in your area that might need to roll over they might have storage on hand, but I've seen a lot of these businesses sometimes have the need for more storage or offsite storage. And then I've also had managers who just boots on the ground will run around and go to the different businesses around and drop off some discount cards.
Gotcha. That's a good idea too. Yeah.
Well, I guess the one question is, Darcel, are you actually getting inquiries for that big unit, or is he just sitting there? And like Jim said, is that something that possibly you can convert because you have the demand for the small stuff? And if you got that big unit sitting there, nobody's renting it, that to me is an opportunity to convert it, because if the market doesn't want the big sizes, it's going to sit there forever.
Yeah, we normally do have them rented, but then there's been some slow times in between this last couple of years where they will sit empty for a couple months and then they'll pick right back up. But in the meantime, while they're sitting empty, we're getting a lot of calls for smaller units.
Can you expand and maybe add some portable units to your property and take advantage of that and do some additions?
We actually have been, and we are looking into that. Yeah.
Because I know we have we put some of the Boxwell units on our one property in North Carolina, and they filled up pretty quick. They were, they're not the traditional ones; they're more 8x10s, 8x20s. But you can do the Boxwell's got some unique sizes that you can definitely do some things with, and portable units are really nice to have around. So,
what I used to do is also
we have looked into those before. It seems like it's pretty popular here for like 5x10s and 10x10s, and ours are 12x20 and 10x20 and 12x24 in this facility.
Every market has a different flavor. I swear, there's this, you never quite know what's gonna hit in a certain market.
But when hurricane season hits and everyone wants to bring their stuff up from the rivers and the ocean, we fill them right up. Because they don't want to sit there and let their stuff get wet. So they come and they fill them up, and then we're full until the next season for a month or two.
Right. There's an AI video I need to create, right? People like dragging crap from a river and throwing it over. I sorry if I ignored it for a little while. I just saw the hand raised for Marty. You're still on. You can jump on.
Yeah, quick question. Any experience or considerations that anybody can share about two additional revenue streams? One being lock rentals, and the other one U-Haul as an affiliate for the tracking rentals. Is
So
it
what?
is it good, bad, worth it, not worth it? Factors that come in, size of facility or not, location.
So Marty, what facility management software are you using?
So today, very basic with ESS.
Okay.
I'm thinking on another, yeah, probably switching to something a little bit more sophisticated. So
Gotcha. The reason I was asking that because I just recently did this as well so we running Hummingbird Mariposa and I was able to figure out, and I don't know about ESS or some of the other ones, but on our checkout page, it's automatically within our lease configuration, it automatically adds a lock to the rental on the checkout process. And how we do that, much like we copy public storage or other ones, there is a lock already in each and every single unit already ready to go.
Oh, where'd
And
you
then
get that from?
Huh?
Where'd you learn that from?
Like my staff was asking me earlier today, like, what's this thing at noon today? I'm like, everybody jump on. Like, yeah. And so Jim is a really good one. However, like, so what that ended up happening is that since I was able to configure that in our lease, we went from like 7 lock sales a month. And now last month we did 43. And this is just at one site. So a retail lock costs us $7. We sell it for 15. You can figure, we went from 43% all the way up to 77% on lock sales, and just that little bit amount. So check in the back end if there's something within the lease, within your sales process that can automatically add that on. I'm just trying to help on that same point. And if anybody else has that, be able to do that within Easy Storage Solutions or any other facility management software. And then what we do is we also use DaVinci. So we have the drop boxes by our exit doors. And all we do is we print off a label, and then the label just has a blank on it. We write the unit number in there. And we instruct our customers if you're bringing your own lock, perfectly fine. If you're bringing your own lock, perfectly fine. If you want to keep our lock, the charge is going to be on there. If you don't want to keep ours that we're providing for you or that you've purchased, to return that to the drop box of our DaVinci. They drop it in there. We see the unit number where it came from. Okay. And then what we do is our on-site goes and our on-site goes and puts that credit on the following month's rent of that particular customer. So it actually is refunded that way. However, the majority of the time, I've only had in the past 3 months, I've only had one customer complain that was put on the next month. So it's basically just a credit for the next month, and then we just recycle the lock, put a new label on it, put it in a different unit, go from there.
Anthony, you're right. We're the same thing. We in May 294 rentals, 271 locks sold for 95% penetration, and we generated about $6,000 in revenue because we're selling our disc locks for $19 a piece plus tax.
Yep. So
and our website does it for we work with Go Local with SiteLink that they do. Go Local can add the lock to the rental as a process as well. So.
And that was just something that I recently discovered within what Hummingbird or Tenant Inc. calls lease configuration. So the process of what documents are signed, what things are added, all the rest of that. But check in the back end, see if it's possible, or get with support and tell them that's a feature that you want.
Okay.
You can also do it after the fact.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I have a soapbox about U-Haul. So if you all want to hear that. That's
my suggestion. Let's go with let's get Marty's second question answered.
Let me throw in the sound effect for dun dun dun.
Right. Okay. When I was the VPO at Strat, I DQ'd U-Haul out of all of my properties. And people gasp because it takes away a revenue stream, and sometimes that's can be a few $1,000s or but what I found is that having their trucks parked very prominently, you all as a competitor, having them have their branding all over our properties, sometimes in front of our signs, sometimes blocking our entrances, and having our team members have a very rich incentive program with U-Haul to ignore our storage customers and go and clean trucks and turn over trucks as quickly as possible was hurting our storage businesses. So the ones where I was getting the most U-Haul revenue were the ones where our storage business, which we were capturing 100% of the revenue from, were suffering and were the worst maintained properties and had the lowest occupancy. And as soon as I took U-Haul away, that completely turned around. So maybe at a really slow property with like limited inventory, maybe, but I could do a portfolio from scratch. I would never put U-Haul. Maybe somebody else has a good experience. So
I've kicked him out too, Jesse. I had a property in Tennessee. I pulled up one day because we were not a drop-off location, but they didn't care. I had 22 trucks parked in front of my gate. Nobody could get in. On a Monday morning.
To Shannon's question in the chat, we doubled the revenue that we lost through store, and it was easy to do because we were missing occupancy and our properties were getting bad reviews for cleanliness. And, I think when you are struggling, you gotta go with what you know. You gotta focus on storage because that's your bread and butter. I think adding ancillary revenue streams that aren't your primary business, I don't think that's a winning proposition. They're using your properties, your team members, your labor, your business overhead, but that's, again, it's a soapbox for me. Don't ever ask me what I think about you.
Marty, Josh Huff and Heather McComb just commented there. On the move trucks are phenomenal. You can get an on the move truck and get your own brand on it. So it's parked out front and you're driving around town. It's got your brand on it. We actually had them in our stores. And if it wasn't being used for a move in, we would actually rent it out by the hour, 4 hour, 6 hour increments. People wanted to use it during the week. So we were making money on the truck, even with our existing customers that had it, that had to go pick stuff up whether they could rent it for 4 hours. We just charged them by the hour. But having that truck drive around town with your logo on it, your phone number, and I know Stacy Maxwell's not on here, but your QR code, that they can scan that QR code and get to your website really quick.
Great.
I would look into On the Move.
Especially in competitive markets. Put on your website, free move-in truck available, that kind of a thing. That's a great way to stand out as well.
Jim, would you put the QR code on the website on the truck? I would.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's faster than a website, right?
Yeah, there's nothing better than driving down the freeway and trying to scan a QR code going down. But no, yeah, do it for sure.
Great.
I was trying to be mindful of everyone's time. We got like 5 minutes. Any last minute questions, comments?
Just a quick comment for Darcel. When I had that issue with most of the time, the consumer doesn't know what size they really need. I would say, why don't you come on down? Let me show you what you think you want. And typically, I almost always sold them a bigger unit because they always showed up with a truckload of crap that they think is going to fit in their 5x10. So that's how I handled that. And like Jim said, if I couldn't, I would convert. That's why I don't like to buy facilities that are wood or drywall, because I can go move a wall and create a unit out of dead inventory. That was just me.
Yeah.
Get them on site first and then sell them something.
I have a lot of people that are price conscious lately, and the price difference is killing me.
I would match anybody's price as long as I can verify it. So when Jim shows up in front of me and he says, "Hey, Jim Mooney over here says it's $3 for the month." Great, let's call him. Jim says, "No, it's $30 a month." Okay, great. Now that you're in front of me, I can sell you something. But when you're BS on the come on down, and I'll confront it, and I'll take your business when you're in front of me. That's just me. But I'm in sales.
Hey, Heather, real quick, you got to hop on here and tell us about the Touch the Truck event. That sounds really cool. Do you have any pictures?
Let me see. I'm pretty sure. Funny enough, Kaylee, my Spacebox manager at Laurel, I had thrown her this event to see if she would pop on, but she's with a customer. It was amazing because one of our tenants at our covered RV spaces is a science truck, and we co-sponsored Touch a Truck and there was fire trucks, so a ton of kids, of course, but then a ton of people were able to go and see our truck, and I'm trying to find pictures right now. I'm pretty sure we put it online, so let me check some stuff out. But yeah, the truck itself is a great tool, especially for community events. So like, I will always call out Spacebox Laurel because Kaylee is one of those managers that does a great amount of marketing and boots on the ground stuff. But this truck itself, it's not just a great tool for having people move in things. We have a few businesses that will reserve a day for the truck that we allow them to use it free of charge. So like there's the HD TV show, Hometown, that stores with us and Laurel, and they've been able to use the truck. We're hoping that we're on the next season, so maybe we can get our truck on TV, but any businesses or community events or school things, we try to use the truck as much as possible because yeah, it is free marketing. And if you have a place where you're not allowed to have so much signage on your building, you have a certain level or a certain square footage, that truck is just an extra giant billboard that you can just park in front and nobody can say anything.
That's cool. I'm gonna put my email, Heather, in chat here because I know we're running out of time. If you can find those pictures, send it to me. I'll put it in the little log here. I'm putting this together for everybody, not just for us, but for other people that can't come on live. They can see what's going on. So this, for instance, this is last week or the 23rd, whatever that was. So it's almost like it's a website for our meetings. So it kind of gives all the major things we talked about, the overview, any technology stuff we talked about, marketing things we talked about, overall business. And so I'll dovetail some stuff like that with some photos of what we just talked about on there. I think that'd be awesome. Perfect. Cool. Well, oh my gosh.
Are you going to take your picture real quick, Jim? Camera's on?
I would have forgot. Camera's on, everybody. Time for the selfie. I would have forgot. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
All right. Are we all ready? Prim and proper? Cool. All right. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. All right.
Anthony won the internet today.
I never had to look at it until after I'm done. Oh, again, thanks everyone for taking the hour out of your Fridays. Hope you guys are getting something out of this. If you do, especially people that have, clients, whatever you're in, invite some people next time. We'll keep this growing. I think there's always kind of that 1 or 2 value nuggets that we get that we can kind of pass on to our customers and clients and owners. And we're all growing. This is fun. So I appreciate you guys taking the hour of your time doing this. It goes by fast, but we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Have a good weekend. Take care.